2021 NHL trade deadline, we're still playing catch up from last night, which was busy. We've already talked about the Taylor Hall trade to Boston and talked about the Nick Foligno trade to the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you want to see my breakdown of those, that's another video right here on this YouTube channel belonging to Sportsnet. Let's go through some of the other moves that have happened so far and leading into today because we've already had some action. The Ottawa Senators have been very busy bees. They're not huge moves, but if you're going to sell at the deadline, this is how you do it. The first is a small one. They send Braden Coburn, a depth defenseman, to the New York Islanders in exchange for a 7th round pick in 2022. That's pretty self-explanatory. Depth guy who they're not going to use going forward, you might as well get something, and that something is a 7th rounder. The much bigger move here, Mike Riley, a defenseman who's got some really good underlying numbers, going to the Boston Bruins for a 3rd round pick. Yet again, this draft pick is in 2022. It appears that's obviously something that the Senators value. And let's face it, the 2021 draft, it could end up being a very good one, but a lot of teams genuinely have no idea. It's been extremely difficult to scout, and a lot of junior leagues aren't even playing. But a 3rd rounder is decent value for Mike Riley, and also important for the Ottawa Senators. For a guy who makes $1.5 million against the cap, they retained $0. That's nice. Now, you can't just sell everybody, though. You actually got to have people to play for your team. Actually, they got that figured out. The Montreal Canadiens placed young and pending restricted free agent defenseman Victor Mete on waivers, and the Ottawa Senators claimed him for nothing. Because that's how claims work. You can't claim a guy for something. So far this deadline, the Ottawa Senators have given up Mike Riley and Braden Coburn, and in exchange they've received a 3rd round pick, a 7th round pick, and Victor Mete. That's tidy. It helps them in the future. They get a little help immediately. That's really good for a selling team. Not to mention, you're getting a player from a divisional rival this year and probably going forward, and he's going to be pretty eager to prove himself. This once highly sought after prospect just couldn't really find a spot with the Montreal Canadiens. Moving off of the Sens, a big deal but a weird one from last night, Jeff Carter going from the LA Kings to the Pittsburgh Penguins. The LA Kings retain 50% of his cap hit, which is very significant because it's not cheap. In fact, it's over $2.6 million, which is especially significant because Carter is not only under contract this season, but also next. There are a variety of conditions on these picks. Thank goodness for capfriendly.com. Let's look at them. Actually, first and foremost, I should say it's a 2022 3rd round pick and a 2023, so down the line, 4th round pick. From capfriendly.com, the conditions on the 2022 3rd round pick can upgrade to a 2nd round pick if the Penguins reach the 2021 Stanley Cup final and Carter plays in at least 50% of the games. The conditions on the 2023 4th round pick can upgrade to a 3rd rounder if Carter plays at least 50 games during next season. Basically, if the Pittsburgh Penguins go all the way to the Cup final this year, if Carter is a significant part of their team next year, they could end up paying a 2nd and a 3rd, which sounds like a lot considering what the Sabres got for Taylor Hall. But that's where the conditions are key. If Carter is good for the Pittsburgh Penguins, good enough to play in the lineup next season, if they make it to the Stanley Cup final, who cares about the picks? Here's a pro. The last team to acquire Jeff Carter at the trade deadline won the Stanley Cup. It was when the Kings got him from the Blue Jackets. Here's the con. That was 9 years ago. I saw a bunch of people going, why would Pittsburgh do this? He's too old. I think being a maybe overpaid player at this point in your career and being unuseful are two completely different things. At over $5 million, or even at what the Penguins are getting him for, a little over 2.6, Jeff Carter is still a useful player. Outside of the cap hit, which for the Penguins is a little over 2.6 mil, Jeff Carter is still a useful player. 13 goals and 33 points 2 seasons ago. 27 points in 60 games last season, but 17 of those points were goals. And he's got 19 points in 40 games this season. That's about half a point a game. Is that great value? I don't know about that. But he does make the Pittsburgh Penguins better on the ice, which is the entire point of the trade. And speaking of the trade, the Jeff Carter trade tree continues. Check that out here on the Sportsnet YouTube channel. I talked about many moons ago when Jeff Carter was moved twice in one season. Spoiler alert, the Kings won. Watch it anyway. And putting a bow on the moves that happened last night, the Leafs were not done after getting Nick Foligno. Near 11 o'clock last night, they acquired Big Save Dave Rittich from the Calgary Flames. Big Save Dave not having the best season in the world. He's only got a .904 save percentage and a losing record, but over the past 2 seasons, he has caused nightmares for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He always seems to bring his A game. And in return, the Calgary Flames get a 3rd round pick For the Leafs, that's nothing for what he provides. Is he going to play a ton? Well, there's not many games left in the regular season, and who knows how many games he's going to play in the playoffs. But that's the thing. You don't need a goalie until you really need a goalie. The insurance this provides the Leafs. They don't know what's going on with Frederik Andersen. Jack Campbell has battled injury this season. This is a good insurance move. Nothing from their prospect pool, nothing off their active roster. Very little risk. And for the Flames, the writing was sort of on the wall. Markstrom was their goalie forever and ever, amen, based on that contract, and he'll be backed up by someone else, it looks like. Getting something for a player who's just going to leave anyway is always better than nothing. And it's not confirmed yet, but it looks like Dave Rittich could already play his first game as a Leaf, and it'll potentially be against the Calgary Flames. Not confirmed, but keep an eye on that. That should be very fun. And to wrap things up, a couple smaller moves at the beginning of today. Adam Gaudette going from the Vancouver Canucks to the Chicago Blackhawks for Matthew Highmore. Gaudette's 24, Highmore is 25, but Highmore costs over $200,000 less. And also, wow, this just in from the Edmonton Oilers Twitter account regarding Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Happy birthday. Every social media manager in the league just trolling us right now. It does sound like they're going to go out and get Dmitry Kulikov, though, who should be a depth defenseman for them. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends something over text. You're all on your phones right now anyway.